Hi, and welcome to Breakfast with Max. I'm Max, your host, and today I'm joined here by a special guest, Prince Ravi, that is here in order to honor and talk about Her Royal Highness Princess Norodom Buppha Devi. And so I'll let you introduce yourself and your relationship with the princess.
Yes, thank you very much indeed for inviting me to Breakfast with Max. And I would like to introduce my relationship with the princess with an anecdote, because she was our president of honor in the late 80s and the early 90s in Paris. We were trying to preserve the cultural heritage of Cambodia with the ballet Maya. And especially when we set up the first version of the Cambodian Ramayana, she came to encourage us, and she gave us some lessons, and we were tremendously successful, and it was thanks to her support, of course. And when unfortunately, afterwards, she got sick. She had a very, very big disease that made us being very preoccupied for herself, for her health. But then when she got out of the hospital, she asked all the dancers in Paris to organize a ceremony to thank the spirit who was protecting the Royal Ballet, because she was convinced that this spirit saved her and gave her another mission to preserve the cultural heritage of Cambodia.
Tell us about her upbringing, where she came from, and how she was introduced to the Royal Ballet of Cambodia.
Yes, but you know, you can read it, because she is, I think, the most famous Cambodian lady now in everywhere in the world. Her Royal Highness Princess Norodom Buppha Devi was born on the 8th of January 1943 in the Royal Palace in Phnom Penh. She was the first the first child of King Norodom Sihanouk and of Namniem Phat Kanyol. Her mother was one of the greatest and most gracious dancers of the Royal Ballet. And this is why King Sihanouk, at the age of 19, just fell deadly in love with her. And when she was born, her grandmother, the future Queen Sisowath decided to grow her. And she was immediately transferred to the residence of the Queen Mother, which is actually the embassy of North Korea next to the Monument of Independence in Phnom Penh. And she was brought up surrounded by the Royal Ballet, because the Queen Kosamak was the only queen in Cambodia who hospited in her own house the dancers, the musicians, and also all the artists of the Royal Ballet. So Princess Buppha Devi was, as she always jokingly said, she learned to dance before learning to walk. And so this is at the age of 5 years old that her grandmother decided to educate her as a holy dancer, which was quite a new thing, because there was no royal princess who was allowed to be a dancer, and she was one of the first in many centuries.
What made her so special?
Her personality. She was so gracious, first of all, because she was, I think, the most beautiful lady in Cambodia. She didn't like to speak much. She liked to exchange with her very intimate friends, but she was quite shy, and she wasn't, well, she doesn't speak much, but each time she spoke, it was to say something very important. When she was relaxed, she can also joke very, very openly. She has a very, let's say, sharp sense of humor, and she was very observing. She observed everything. She knew everything about you, and she just knew when you were in a good mood, in a bad mood, if you had spent a good night or not, but she never said something. And when she said, when she saw you a little, for instance, with me, with her cousin, when she saw me a little preoccupied, she said, "What would you like to have for dinner? Because if you are free for dinner, I will make something cook for you. But tell me if you want something." This is the sign that she saw that you were not in a good day or whatever, and so she was going to help you. So she was absolutely a caring person, and she loved to be surrounded by people she likes, and she loves to share what she has, especially around the table.
She became probably the best dancer, at least in the 20th century, one of the best ever for the Royal Ballet of Cambodia. But she had to rebuild the Royal Ballet of Cambodia after the dark years.
In the 1960s, it was her moment of glory as a dancer, because she accompanied her father, who abdicated to become the chief of state, the head of state. And so with him, she can go everywhere in the world, a troupe of the Royal Ballet, of which the princess was a leader. And she was absolutely adored. And she had the magic of the stage. Each time she stepped on the stage, it was just like an angel who was coming on earth. And after 1970, when Cambodia went into the turmoil of the Vietnam War, and the royal family was forced to be to get out of the country, and for Princess Buppha Devi to go first to Beijing and afterwards to France, then there was a kind of first of all, she had to overcome all these dramatic events, and afterwards to decide to create the first association to protect the Royal Ballet. Afterwards, she joined the resistance. And then in 1991, when her father decided to go back to Cambodia in November, she even went back, I think some months before him, to re-begin all her work for the Royal Ballet. And once she went back, she was recognized immediately by all the Royal Ballet masters who were still alive.
During her years as Minister of Culture, she worked for all the Cambodian culture, but especially she had a goal to ensure the future of the Royal Ballet. What did she do?
Well, she begins, first of all, to gather all the surviving Royal Ballet masters, to talk with them and to recreate the repertoire. And because the teaching of the Royal Ballet is all a matter of oral tradition. And she tried first to have all the songs and all the music written down, which is quite complicated as an oral tradition. The Royal Ballet is not used to that. Then there was all the costumes, because for each legend, for each ballet, there were different costumes, there were different tiaras, there were different jewels. So she made all that redo, which is quite complicated because it is expensive to do jewels, and to, even though it's only in silver gilded, but still. And then she has also the material, the fabrics, the silks, the embroideries to be done again. And afterwards, she has to gather once again all the ballet masters for bringing back the choreography. So the choreography, which not only, we have more than 4,000 gestures registered, and so to put all these gestures together to tell us a story, and then to remember all the episodes, because Cambodian legends are very, very complicated. There are so many episodes in which the heroes are confronted with enemies before maybe to gain the happy end that everybody is waiting after 3 or 4 hours of ballet. So And then she had to cut it off to have a version which could be shown to especially to the Western audience, because who nowadays are going to bear more than 2 or 3 hours of a legend on the stage. And so she had done all that, and in the same time she wanted to advertise the Royal Ballet the way she did in the 1960s, and the way, of course, did great-great-grandfather King Sisowath when he first went to Paris in 1906, bringing for the first time the Royal Ballet of Cambodia to the knowledge of the Western world. Then she had an idea with UNESCO, because UNESCO is going to be the label that we are going to use to preserve forever the Royal Ballet, because we were so near to disappear.
You said she was very attentive to you, your mood, how you were feeling. Can you tell us a little bit more of how she was?
Somebody who has been next to her could just testify. She was a very discreet person. She never speaks much. She was always smiling, usually smoking a cigarette. And for the rest, her passion was dance, and that was all. If you want to talk about something that which is going to light her eyes, just speak about dance. Just speak about how to bring up again the Cambodian ballet at the level of the 1960s, and how she didn't like to talk about the past. She laughed a lot when people were asking about L'Oiseau de Paradis, Marcel Camus, 1960s, and whatever. She said, but what's the point to talk about the past? It's not the thing which is important to me now. The thing which is important is the future and what we are going to leave to the growing generations. That's all. And for the rest, she was also a very, very protective and prudent princess. She was always protecting all the people who were working with her, and she will never let anyone tell something bad against her work, her dancers, and the people she was trusting. She was, I think, another of her main quality was loyalty. She was a very loyal person and very faithful to the memory of her grandmother, Queen Kosamak, and also of the legacy that she was bearing on her shoulders. And she was very, very proud and conscious that she needs to leave something to Cambodia, but not only to Cambodia, also for the Cambodia of the future, for the next generation. She was very preoccupied of what the ballet is going to become after her.
So you went to Phnom Penh for her funerals. What was the reaction of her passing?
No, it was a great sadness and great emotion, because she didn't feel well since mid-October, but she was joking with me. She said, okay, maybe I need to do a little checkup. I feel tired. I don't know what I have, but everybody was surprised, because we didn't expect that she would have left us so early and so quickly. And so the effect of the total surprise put with the immense popularity of the princess means that all the people, and especially young people, were very, very touched, and they were absolutely bewildered by how quick it was happening. And when the princess came back, everybody was crying, and they were on the 20th of November, because the princess passed away on the 18th of November at 12:30 in Bangkok in the afternoon. And she was repatriated in the evening of the day after, of Tuesday, 19th of November. And the royal government declared the Wednesday, 20th of November, the national mourning day for her death. And so all the ministries, His Majesty the King, and all the great people, let's say the great personalities of Cambodia came to honor the princess in the royal chapel of Wat Tom on the 20th of November. And I was in the plane. I didn't attend all these ceremonies of homage, but from the day after, from Thursday until the day of the cremation, which was on Monday, 25th of November, I saw many people. You see also very important people, ministers, deputies, senators, whoever, but you also see many humble people, people from the street, people from the countryside coming on purpose with just 3 incense sticks and lotus flowers to honor the princess, just to tell you how popular she was. And people were crying because they said that now we have lost our angel. We don't know who is going to chair the Royal Ballet anymore. And they were desperate.
I have just a question. Can she somehow be found someone that can not replace her, but in somehow take her place and take the legacy?
It will take time, you know, because the Royal Ballet, of course, was not functioning only thanks to her. There was a big team of Royal Ballet masters. You have also the technicians. You have also the young dancers and the young masters. Among them, you have 2 or 3 dancers who were among the most intimate with the princess. And of course, as her favorite pupils, they learn a little more of the, let's say, the little tricks that the princess gave them. But it will take time because the influence of the princess is more than just a choreographer, is more than just a teacher. The spirit of dance by Princess Buppha Devi is something which is more knit with the magic, with the fascination that the dancer is going to exercise on the public. And you will see that she will probably continue to watch over the Royal Ballet, being now one of these mythical Royal Ballet masters that we are going to evoke during the weekly ceremony on Thursdays. And I'm sure that she will very soon made us understand who is going to be the heiress, because it should be a woman, the heiress of her tradition. For the rest, my cousin, Prince Sisowath, he was the private secretary of the princess for many years, and he's the one who is taking care of the royal ballet part, the more traditional part of the Cambodian culture. And he is the one now who is going to accompany the Royal Ballet for the next tournée in Europe. It will begin with Modena in 2020 on the 15th of April. And afterwards, 1 week after, it will be in Paris. And he already decided to choose as the artistic director of this tournée a young and beautiful dancer. Her name is Toraka, and she was one of the princess' favorite pupils. And she will probably do a great job. In the country, we also have the son of the Prime Minister, Mr. Hun Mani, who is taking care of all the matters dealing with culture and education. And he came to the funeral, and he was very sad and very affected by the loss of the princess. I'm sure he will do something, and with him you have great, also great Royal Ballet Masters. and especially Nyakru Sotsomali, who is one of the, let's say, leading head of the Royal Ballet right now. So for the time being, I don't feel there is a real danger for the Royal Ballet to disappear. The only preoccupation that I have will be to maintain the spirit in which the princess wanted the Royal Ballet to move on, to continue, and to be proud to be the Royal Ballet, and to preserve the, let's say, the pureness of the choreography, and not to indulge into the touristic way of presenting and performing the Royal Ballet, as you can see in some places. In Simbri, for instance, the princess was very upset. She did a tour when she was a prime minister, for instance, to correct all the Apsara ballet that were presented all over the Cambodia, because she said, Apsara ballet is my ballet, it's my dance. They should reproduce what I did and not to do stupid things or stupid choreography or whatever. So she was very upset. It was in the years 2005, 2006, if I remember well. But you see, there is not an immediate danger for the Royal Ballet to disappear. There is there is only this preoccupation to preserve the way that Princess wanted the Royal Ballet to go on. That's it.
I'll thank you for attending, for speaking about the princess with us. Give us a little insight of the princess and her life and her legacy. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart to share all this with us.
Thank you very much, and see you soon.